Yeah, now what to do? Yeah, we have to rehearse now, and we rehearsed each and every day and night to. And then when we went into the studio and we recorded our symphony in 1 hour, and that was done. And Conny Plank said, "I have never seen a band who can play, who comes in and plays, and it's perfect." We were very, very good trained at that time.
Yeah, good for you.
And that was the beginning of a long friendship between Conny and me, you know.
Yeah. Conny passed away, right?
Conny has passed away in the early 80s, yes. And in the later 80s, I think it was 87 or so.
Yeah. He was a very good guy. A lot of people have talked to me about Conny Plank. Yeah, he's
yeah, we were on the same base. He always wanted me as an engineer for his studio. And it was very close, I agreed, because he used to say when it came up to recording acoustic guitars, he always said, "You have to record the acoustic guitars. You have the better ears." So he wanted me for his studio, but I wanted to be on the road. Honestly, I was a drummer and wanted to make music for the people, and not always sitting behind the desk and recording other bands. That's what I did later when I left Grobschnitt.
Yeah.
But with Conny, we have recorded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums. Also, my fifth solo album was remixed there in his studio, and there were so many stories with him. I could write a book about it, probably.
Yeah, and then so you guys did very well from 71 to when you were there until you left in 83, right? And you guys were very successful. You did very, very well. You were touring, not just in Germany, but in Europe. And you ever end up touring here in the United States or not?
No.
No, never,
We had
right?
enough to do with Germany in the high times in 77, 78, 79. After we had won the Rock Palace poll as #1 band of the year, we had, I think, 110 gigs in a year. Wow. So we played
every 3 gigs a week, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes 4, 6, one after the other in a row. So it was hard work, and we couldn't even think of playing somewhere else because we had to drive our convoy with 3 trucks and buses and so through the German province, because Germany has one main thing of Grobschnitt which was very important. In the first years, the people didn't come to us; we came to the people.
Oh, really?
We were not a band who was playing the big Westphalian hall with 10,000 people. We did it later. But in the first years, we said, we go to the people. We drive in every village behind the 7th hill in the 18th woods, but we are going there to play for them. Each little city has some assembly hall, some city hall, you know, some club maybe. And so we drove there to play for the people there where they live. And that was so great. The band convoy arrived at high noon in the city, and the whole youngsters were gathering around. Oh, the band is coming. Can we help? Can we carry something inside? So it was a sensation for these little villages. And from beyond these villages, all people came because they were very good, how do you call it, network. Everybody knows everything in those little cities, so everybody knew the band is coming, and it was always sold out. And we did it for many years like that. And later, when we were getting too big for little assembly halls, we played the big halls in each city here around. And then the people came from the province to the big cities to see us. The wave came back. You understand?
Yeah, of course.
That's how it worked. And we were very close to the people in the early years. We didn't have a stage which was this high with fences around. We played in the clubs, and the people were sitting between my drums, you know.
Wow.
Because it was full, and I played drums, and left of me were people sitting right in front of me, and it was this club feeling, and the resonance from band to the people, and the whole vibrations, they were one big thing, one big event. So we became a really beloved band. Grobschnitt was a typical German band. We couldn't well, you see, I can't speak English very well, but I couldn't make my jokes in German. And so the people knew what was coming. It was always when Grobschnitt was appearing, it was a big event, a big fair, like a big birthday party. Because after the shows, we of course shake hands with the whole assembly and we give autographs. And later we were drinking at the bar a beer and we asked every question and I gave away my drumsticks and everything. So we were close to the people. And that rewarded back later when they all came back when we did the big festivals.
Yeah. So you were financially, you guys were doing very well, right? Or no?
No. I earned so many money with my instrumental hit, and the band earned so much money, but we all pushed it into the equipment.
Oh, okay. So the money was coming in, better equipment, better. Okay, gotcha.
Better equipment. You know, that's another point of Grobschnitt. Our big sound system, we called it PA back then.
Yeah.
These big speakers, they were all self-constructed and self-built. They were not custom designed. We had people who designed and built these special systems for us. Maybe you know a band called Grateful Dead.
Of course.
Back then they had a special PA system consisting of many tiny speakers, hundreds of tiny speakers, and we were the second band in the world with a system like that, with very small, tiny speakers, a wall of sound, which enabled us to give a very loud but very warm, natural sound. Not those horn speakers, which are always hurting the ears. I was very interested in transferring our music in the best audible way. So we had specialists who built it, and they were expensive. But we were the first band in Germany who had a light equipment with 100,000 watts hanging over our heads. It was self-built. The control desks for the light show was self-built. It was all built by us. So the money went into a big tube without a bottom. Always you could pay and pay and pay and pay. And then you have to have a big truck with 12 tons and you must pay. Huh? We had no management. We did it all ourselves.
Wow, what a story, man. And the concert lasts, I heard that between 2 and 2.5 hours, and you were for encore. I mean, the people were standing for almost 3 hours to listen to the music, right?
Sometimes it was more than 3 hours. In the beginning, sometimes it was quite up to 4 hours because, we had the old split, which I told you before, from the crew to play the chart things and to play the experimental things.
Exactly.
It lived on with Grobschnitt. We had two halves of the concert. The first half, we played our hits, all the known things from the albums, Father Smith and Symphony and what you are calling.
Yeah.
Rock Promised Land, which the people were about, which the people were know and which the people wanted.
Yeah.
But Rock Promised Land. Let's take it, for example, one of our biggest albums. I hated it because it was clean playing. Every single note was fixed and I had to play it the best possible way. And every roll and every cymbal accent was every evening the same. So we played our hits very carefully and very good in the first half. But the second half, there was when we could let off ourselves. That was Solar Music in first row. And Solar Music was a 1 hour improvisation with fixed points, of course, but with spaces for everyone who could show what he wants to do and who could let off himself like he was. So honestly, we were looking forward to the second half because then we could show what we can. And if Solar Music was running, well, it was running. Sometimes it lasted for an hour. So it got rather long.
Yeah. And were you recording all the gigs or the majority of the gigs or
no?
Because I know later on you began collecting the stuff and and put it all
I
together.
was recording. Yes, I was recording. I wasn't recording every gig because it started in 1978. Yes, we recorded solar music.
Yeah.
I bought a small 8-track recorder machine, and this was 1978 on tour with us, and recorded on 8 tracks, especially solar music, because we intended to release a live version of this thing.
Yep.
And that's what happened later I think in 78, 79, 78, it came out as Solar Music Live, the album. And later I recorded with one of those machines you have seen here, these 2-track recorders. I recorded only the mixer channels combined with 2 microphones to just, to have some memories of the concerts, but not every concert, because I did it myself. I had to play drums, and I also had to start the machines, sometimes with a foot switch. So no, we didn't record it all. I wish I had recorded more, but still there is some quite good stuff existing, which I'm releasing since 2007 now, in my series. So the people can relive Grobschnitt.
And then fans also, before we talk into the record, fans also send you tapes, and for some of the concert, I think you didn't record, right?
What?
In some years, right? Fans, I believe, send you their own recording that perhaps they were great, and when you began putting the series and the album together, right? I read that some fans also for the Grobschnitt stories send you stuff, right?
Yeah, sometimes it happened that fans came up to me and said, "We want to record. Are we allowed to record this show?" And I said, "Well, if you are professional enough, you can record it." And sometimes I even enabled them to get the direct signal from the mixer, so they could record their stuff. And most of them sent it to me later, but some forgot and sent it me 30 years later. And some were recording with handheld microphones. I didn't know. But yes, of course, there were some recordings done in the early years, which are very, very great now. And I have remastered them. And
yeah. And then at the same time you were with Grobschnitt, you began doing your own stuff, right? You end up releasing, 5 albums, Eroc 1, 2, and 3, and 4,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So in between when you were not touring with Grobschnitt and you were doing your own music as well, or?
Yeah, it developed because of my technical interest. Yeah. I had my recording studio, my small recording studio already in 1971, 72, and I was interested in this electronic sound machines, the first synthesizers which came up, because it's pure electronic, oscillators and filters and so on. And so I started to experiment with these sounds.
Yeah.
And I like music and sound, and I wanted to do something different from Grobschnitt.
Yeah.
And because I did it in my spare time when we were not on tour, this was a time to relax. So I relaxed and tried to make music which helped me to relax. And so the first albums are a little bit smooth and melodic. So that's what I started in 1973. But I did it already. I did it in the 60s already. I recorded sounds, even with guitars, and played them only to my friends. They had to lay down on the couch with earphones, and I presented them these audio trips, I called it. And very interesting stuff. And when we had our contract with Metronome, the Metronome A&R manager called Gunther Körber, he visited us several times when we did the next album and the next album. So he visited us to attend the rehearsals, and he was also in my studio, and I played him one of my audio trips. And he listened and he said, "Well, that's great. Why don't you bring it out on record?" I said, "Well, nobody's interested in this crap. I'm doing it for private." "Yeah, you have to bring it out." I said, "Well, if you like." And so he pushed me to make my first album. I didn't want to make an album. I had enough work with Grobschnitt and the Grobschnitt albums, but he said, bring it on. So Eroc 1 was recorded, and then came Eroc 2 and 3 and all the stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I listened to some of the stuff last night as well. Another album that probably it was an excellent album and I had a lot of success. I think, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Vulcan Rise.
That's my instrumental hit.
Yeah, that I listened to the stuff. I think I have 3 albums for you: the Eroc 1, the first one, and the Vulcan Rise. That's an excellent album. I mean, everybody tells you the same thing, but I listened just last night with
Yes.
you know, with fresh air. You know, I got a beer, I put my headphone, I forget about the interview, and I listen to the stuff. I have as if I have never seen the stuff before, right? And it's so beautiful.
You know the track Vulcan Rise?
Of course, it's unbelievable.
It's Vulcan Rise. It's called in English. It's Journey of the Clouds.
Oh, okay.
And I can tell you the story behind if you're interested.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, it also depends on my technical experimental interest.
Yeah.
We had a show at the Grobschnitt concert opening. This show was called the Old Soldiers Show. Depending on the old photography, which you probably have seen with the old 6 soldiers from 1916,
yeah,
there was a band of old soldiers calling themselves Grobschnitt, and they were playing in 1916 around our city. Oh. And one of them is the uncle of our Tony Molo, the grand uncle. And he found this photo, and we saw the name Grobschnitt on it. And so we called ourselves Grobschnitt because we liked the name. And so we wanted on stage to present the history of Grobschnitt with soldiers coming on stage and drinking beer and telling how they invented Grobschnitt. And so we needed an intro, a musical intro for the show coming from Dave at the gigs. So I thought, well, it was me to make all Grobschnitt tapes and intros because I had my recorders. So I sat down and thought, what does these old guys prefer? What kind of sound do they prefer? I said, well, accordion, that's great. I had a friend, his father had an accordion. I said, can I have it for a week? Okay, I could have it for a week. Then what do we need? Horns. Soldiers blow horns. I don't have horns. But our keyboard player, Volker missed. He had a synthesizer called Syntax. It could play horns. So I got this synthesizer from him. Then I thought, well, we need some harmonies. And Lupo had a 12-string electric guitar called Ovation Breadwinner. It's a 12-string electric guitar. He said, you can have it for the music. So I had this 12-string guitar, the accordion, and the synthesizer for the horns, and an old acoustic guitar, which was my own. I had bought for a few marks and could play a little bit on it. So I thought how to make music with all these instruments. The first chord on guitar you can play is E minor. You only have to push 2 strings, you know?
Yeah.
E minor is a little bit cheap. Pink Floyd used it often. So I tried with my small finger to make it more interesting and pressed the upper string and made E minor 9, which sounded better.
Yeah, I got that.
And that's the beginning chord of Wolgang. So I experimented with this chord on the acoustic guitar, on the 12-string electric guitar, and to make the electric guitar sounding slightly more interesting, I put it with an echo on.
Wow.
Has an echo loop inside. Yeah. These machines are built 1976. They are such old. And so I made an echo loop with the guitar on the machine. But the machine was defect in the circuit for the electricity. There was something wrong. And the louder I played, the slower the machine went. So the echo was like, whoa. I had no time for repairing it, so I played it, and it sounded somehow interesting, this defect machine. So the first chord is this 12-string played over the defect echo machine, and it opens this Wolgang. And then I went on with the rhythm, and then I had a small 8-track machine, as I told you before, which we recorded solar music, this 8-track instrument. On the next track, I recorded my acoustic guitar. On the next track, I recorded tambourine and slide bell. And then it came up for a melody. And I had to play, I wanted to play the accordion, but I had never played an accordion before.
Yeah.
So what to do? I tried out which tones are fitting the best, the melody. I was a little bit into keyboards, but not into pushing accordion and playing. So honestly said, the accordion is still existing, and I can show it to you. It was exhibited last year in the big exhibition, 50 years of Grobschnitt down.
50 years, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And on the accordion, you see on the single keys, you see little circles and crosses in different colors.
Yeah.
Those were the keys I had to play. So I hang the accordion, went to the mirror, towards the microphone, and looked into the mirror how to play the tones. You understand?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
They were marked, I could play them, and looked at the right tones with a mirror into the microphone. It had the melody for the song.
Yeah.
And after that, it was finished. And so we had an intro for this show for Grobschnitt.
Wow.
At this time, I was very in love. So I made the music very nice. And the first man who heard this finished song was the dad of my former girlfriend. He came upstairs and he said, well, that is sounding good. That is sounding so great. How is it called? I said, I don't know. Then I looked out of the window. I said, The Journey of the King of the Clouds. Oh, great title, he said. And so it was called The Journey of the King of the Clouds because I could see the clouds outside. Later, the record company said, the name is too long. We have to small a bit. We have to small it. We have to small down. And then I said, well, we call it Journey of the Clouds. Wolgang.
Yeah.
So I invented a new word, which was in German not really existing before. So I played this then to my mates from Grobschnitt, and they liked it. And so it was coming from tape at every beginning of our show back then in 1978.
Yeah.
What happened? The first 3 chords and the whole audience was clapping. They liked the song. What happened a few weeks later? Somebody from the record company was sitting in Hamburg in the concert and listened. And after the show, he said, well, this piece at the beginning, this is so with the accordion. What is it? I said, oh, well, I have done it for the show. You must release it as a record. I said, no, never. Never. I am a drummer. I'm a rock drummer. Ginger Baker is my hero. What have I to do with accordion? That's for old people. Accordion, you play it on marriages or something like this. I'm not an accordion player. You have to record it. You have to bring it out. I said, oh, well. Okay. In 78, we had so many gigs and so many tours, but I wanted to make my 3rd album. So I made some patchwork album with old live gigs, Eroc 3 with some experiments. And I put this track we are talking about in, I think it's on side A, place 3, somewhere between the others. So that they were quiet from the record company. And so it was on the album. But then the record company, they had the rights to release it as a single. I didn't know. And they did. And they released it as a single. And the single went around the whole country, all radio stations and everything. And I was very, very surprised to hear my music when we were driving on the road through some gig out of the radio. And these stupid DJs all mostly said, well, now comes the group Eroc. I said, the group? Which group? I did it before the show with an accordion.
That's right. That's right.
But the thing developed itself.
Yeah.
I just could sit there and see, well, now it's in the charts. Now it's played here. Now it's played every night on all radio stations simultaneously. It went up and up and up. And half a year later, my royalty fees from the record company, I opened the envelope and I thought, oh, it's a misprint. There are a few zeros. yeah, it was coming in. The money was suddenly coming in.
Yeah.
It was more than I could handle because it sold very much. It was played on the radio. The radio paid for it and everything. And suddenly I was rich. Yeah. So what did I do? Bought a better recording machine, bought a better mixing desk, bought a new drum kit, bought instruments, and the money was gone. Then came the next money. I bought again. And later I bought a whole studio, a complete studio with 16-track recording machines and everything for Grobschnitt, not for me, because I wanted to develop the band. The money was very, very welcome.
Yeah. Feel free to, if you don't mind, show the studio like you were, or no?
Well, it's a small studio.
No, but it's good. You were showing. Don't be humble. You know, people will like the tape recorder and everything. Yeah, that's
okay. I can do it. I have to put something on the screen so that you see something because the screens are totally black at the moment.
Like you showed me before, it's a beautiful setting, man.
What is it?
It's beautiful. What you showed me before with the recording and the other room.
Yes. When I'm talking, I can't think, so I don't know what to do. But yeah, I do it. Wait a minute. So. Well, as you probably know, I'm working for mastering, remastering commercial productions. The last weeks I did bands like Steamhammer, Renaissance, If, BBC recordings, Fairport Convention, and all those from the past. And I'm sitting here 14 hours a day in front of this machinery, working with my monitors.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's very nice, very nice.
And doing altering the sound. The studio is, I switch on a lamp here so we can probably see a little more. I have a problem with my window here, it has to be repaired. Yeah, the technique, I also have those old machines here. Can you see?
Yeah, wow.
Also I have some old tapes.
Yeah, yeah.
I also am handling music cassettes which come in very often, which are here with probably this machinery. You see this?
Yeah, those are Reeboks.
Cassette recorder. Huh?
Are those Reeboks? Yeah.
Yeah, all Reebok.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
Here's another machinery where I'm doing video editing and video recording. I have everywhere. I have old things, old radio sets. I have what is here? Oberheim synthesizers.
Yeah,
and well, here down here I have something interesting, which is my first tape recorder, 1965.
Yeah.
Well, in the other stuff I have well, in the kitchen I have. Oh, what is happening now? Are we still on the air?
Of course, yeah, we're
But I can't see anything.
Yeah, I'm able to see you.
You can see me, but I can't see you.
Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah.
I have Zoom player source.
No, it is recording. I'm seeing you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to see you. I see some kind of what is this? I don't see you. I see Zoom, Google, Huawei, Figure 1.
Okay. If you want, you can bring it to your desk. It's okay. But I'm able to see you.
Yeah, that's good. You can see my kitchen.
Yeah, that's it, your CD, your music, your kitchen. Yeah.
Do you see this machine under the desk?
Yeah.
It's a gold-plated reverb machine from the 70s. I can show you the other photo here is a professional computer machine. Can you see this?
Wow, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Where we play here, the old tapes like these.
Yeah.
Lying everywhere around here. Here is also a computer machinery. And also, you said you own only 4 radio stations. This is my AM radio stations. You can